Hello, good morning dear students. Again welcome back to our lesson that is life processes. Okay, and first digestive system we have completed and we have started with now respiration. Okay, so what is meant by breathing? Okay, what is meant by breathing and what is the mechanism of breathing that we have talked about. Okay, and after it in previous class I have talked to you about the mechanism of respiration and types of respiration. Okay, aerobic and anaerobic type of respiration we had a lot of discussion on it. Okay, so that was into the animal cell, okay, into the microorganisms, okay, as well as into the muscle cells of the human body of that is aerobic and the anaerobic kind of respiration. And today we are going to have a look on the respiration in plants. Okay, so students, we have seen the process of the photosynthesis. Okay, photosynthesis process in which what we have talked about, for the process of the photosynthesis we are in need of what? To prepare the food. Plants are in need of what? Chlorophyll, sunlight and the raw material like carbon dioxide and water was needed. Okay, plants were using atmospheric carbon dioxide and water which they were taking from the roots of the plant by the absorption process, and in presence of sunlight, and plants also contain chloroplast, and that chloroplast contains chlorophyll pigments that we have seen already in detail when the school was there. So chloroplast, chlorophyll pigments which were present into the chloroplast, which is one of the important cell organelle of the plant cell. So chloroplast and sunlight has the, chloroplast has the affinity for the sunlight. So that we have seen. So in that we have talked about water molecule was breaking down, and when the water molecule was breaking down, that time oxygen was releasing into the atmosphere, into the surrounding environment, and hydrogen was there. That hydrogen and carbon dioxide was used to prepare the food. That is, food is what? Glucose. Okay, C6H12O6. See, human beings or animals and plants both are living organisms. Okay, as plants and animals both are living organisms, both are in need of the food for the survival or for other life processes. Both are in need of what? Food. Okay, so both has to undergo the process of respiration, right? But the difference is that we were heterotrophic. Human beings or other organisms are heterotrophic. They cannot prepare their own food. They are taking food from other sources, from the outer environment. They are taking in food into the body and digested into the body, and the nutrients are stored into the body in the form of glycogen that we have talked about. But in case of plants, what happens? Plants are preparing their own food because they are autotrophic in nature. They are able to prepare their own food by the process of the photosynthesis. So plants are not only undergoing the process of photosynthesis. Students, it's myth that plants do not require oxygen. Plants are always taking in their body. So plants are also in need of oxygen for the process of respiration. Okay. So in the difference is that we are taking in oxygen by the process of breathing, and I had explained you in my previous video how the mechanism of breathing taking place into the human body. Okay, how plants are taking in oxygen or carbon dioxide. Plants are taking in oxygen and carbon dioxide by the process of diffusion. Diffusion is what? The movement of the particle from higher concentration to the lower concentration. If plants are in need of oxygen or carbon dioxide and into the surrounding environment, if more carbon dioxide and oxygen is present than inside the plant, then that oxygen and carbon dioxide will be taking in into the plant by the process of diffusion. Right? Because plants do not have specific respiratory system like us. We were doing breathing mechanism with the help of our nostrils and the lungs, because we have a specific respiratory system for this process. for the inhalation and exhalation process, which will be the byproduct for the respiration, we had a specific system. But have you ever seen for any plant that plant is having any respiratory system, even though it is a very huge plant? No, students. Plants do not have respiratory system, and so that they don't have any nose or any nostrils. So how the plants can fulfill the demand of oxygen and carbon dioxide as per the need of them? Means whether they want to respiration or photosynthesis. Plants are taking in oxygen and carbon dioxide by the process of diffusion. Keep in mind, student. And we cannot go by the process of diffusion to fulfill the demand, because we are complex. Our body is very complex. We are higher organism. Our energy demand is also large, and to fulfill the energy demand or to fulfill the need of oxygen, we have a special respiratory system. Okay, so plants taking in oxygen and carbon dioxide by the process of diffusion. Okay, and that diffusion is carried out by specific organs which are designed into the plants. What are those organs? Plants are undergoing the process of diffusion. Plants are taking in, means there are part of the plant through which the diffusion is taking place. That is what? Leaf, then stem, and then root. Through this part, the diffusion is taking place. How through this part the diffusion is taking place? Because on the leaf contains stomata. Because on the leaf contains stomata. And this stomata is designed for exchange of gases. Exchange of gases. As well as what is the another function of stomata? Transpiration. Transpiration. Exchange of gases. In that what you will say? Stomata are in need of exchange. Stomata is designed for exchange of gases. If plant is undergoing by the process of photosynthesis, means plant will be in need of what? Carbon dioxide. So that carbon dioxide will be taken by stomata. If plant is performing the role of what? Respiration, then plant will be in need of oxygen. So that oxygen will be taken from stomata. And at the same time, the byproduct or the product which will be formed during these two reactions will be given out by the stomata only. Stomata is what? A small pore which is present at the lower surface as well as at the upper surface. At the upper surface there is a upper epidermis, and on the upper epidermis stomata, means stoma are present. Okay, and at the lower epidermis also stomatas are present. But transpiration process is also followed by the stomata, so that most of the stomatas are situated at the lower epidermis. Why, students? Because transpiration is the process through which the loss of excess water is taking place. Means if the plant contains more amount of water, then that water can be loosed by the stomatal pore itself. Means if the stomatal pore would be at the upper epidermis, then what will happen? The plant will be dry up easily. And to avoid this, most of the stomatal pore are designed at the lower epidermis of the leaf. Understood? So leaf is designed for the diffusion process by the stomata. And on the stem and the root, what is present? Lenticels are present. On the bark of the tree, that is also called as the stem, and on the surface of the root, what is present? Lenticels are also small pores. Lenticels are also what? Small pores. And these small pores are also designed for the same purpose like stomata, exchange of gases. Okay, exchange of gases is carried out on the stem and on the root by the lenticel. So now oxygen, how it will come inside and how carbon dioxide will go outside, or how carbon dioxide is taken in and how oxygen will be released through which organ of the plant, that we have talked about. Now we will move ahead with our process. See students, plants are preparing their own food by the process of what? Photosynthesis. By the process of photosynthesis. Right? Plants are in need of carbon dioxide and water as a raw material for the photosynthesis. And what are the essential factors for the photosynthesis? That is sunlight and chlorophyll. sunlight and chlorophyll is in need, right? What they are preparing for it? C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus H2O. This is released into the atmosphere. This is what? C6H12O6. You are quite acquainted with it. You are familiar with this compound that is called as what? Glucose. That compound is called what? Glucose. And that glucose is only called what? Food. Means plant can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis, and they are in need of what? Carbon dioxide. Okay. Now food has prepared by the plant. Now that food has prepared. Now for what this food will be utilized? That food will be utilized to make energy, which will be in the form of ATP. Because how? This is the cell, whether it will be animal cell or the plant cell. Only the difference is of what? Animal cell would not have a cell wall, while plant cell will have a cell wall. That is the difference. As well as one important cell organelle would be present here into the plant cell, that is called as what? Plastid. Okay, and animal cell won't have a plastid, and out here somewhere the nucleus is arranged and the vacuoles are present aside into the cell, into the plant cell. Otherwise all the functions are same. Animal cell and plant cell, other functions are same. All the cell organelles would be present into the plant cell as well as into the animal cell too. So there would be one important cell organelle into the plant cell also, that is called as what? Mitochondria. That mitochondria is called as what? Powerhouse of the cell. Okay, and that mitochondria stores energy in the form of ATP. So even it is plant or animal, both are in need of energy as both are living organisms. So it's a myth that plants do not require oxygen. Plants are also in need of oxygen for what? That I shall say you. So plants contain food. Okay, that food is utilized to make energy in the form of ATP. When the plants are preparing their food, forming their food, that is in the form of glucose. When plants are supplying this food from one part of the plant to other part, that is called as what? Transportation. Transportation. That time that food is in the form of sucrose, and when plants are storing that food, that is called as starch. Means it does not mean that whenever the plants are preparing their food, that all the food they are utilizing at the same time. Some food they are storing it for the further use. Understood? And if they are transporting the food from one part of the plant to other plant, that is called as what? Sucrose. That is also one kind of disaccharides. Okay? This is single molecule. That is disaccharides, two molecules of the glucose. So storage, formation and transportation, according to that, food is bifurcated into starch, glucose and the sucrose. Okay, so this is all about food. Now what will happen, student? Now what will happen? Now glucose is there, C6H12O6, this glucose is there. Now to break down this glucose, that process we said as a glycolysis. To break down this glucose in presence of oxygen to prepare energy, which is in the form of ATP, is called respiration, along with CO2 and H2O, like human beings, like other animals. So respiration process is common in both plants and animals too. But the demand of the plant is less, so the major event during the daytime is what? Photosynthesis. But at night, plants are undergoing the process of respiration because they contain already C6H12O6, that is glucose, is present. Now oxygen is also present into the environment, or by the process of photosynthesis, whatever the oxygen is created, that also plants can be utilized for the respiration process. Understood, students? And then glucose in presence of oxygen, the respiration process is taking place, and in the form of ATP energy is produced into the plants also. So your elders might be saying you that not to sleep under the tree at night. What is the reason, students? Is it the reason that trees are haunted by the ghost at night? Is it like that? No, it's absolutely wrong. This is not true. Plants or huge trees are not haunted by the trees, not haunted by the ghost, but plants at night performing the role of respiration, which is chemical reaction, and the byproducts are formed during this chemical reaction is what? Carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is not good for our health. So if we will sleep under the tree at night, we may suffer from the problem of the suffocation, and because of that we must not sleep. So I hope you understand that plants are performing both the reactions, that is photosynthesis also and respiration also. So I hope you understand the concept, and if you have not understood, you may ask me during PS period. But while listening this lecture, please get in the habit to prepare your own notes so that you can watch it very carefully. Understood? Thank you so much.